Welcome student, welcome to the class of pharmaceutical jurisprudence. In today's lecture, we are going to discuss the next chapter, Pharmacy Act 1948. First, we will see the origin of Pharmacy Act 1948. As we have discussed earlier in history of pharmacy in India, the Drug Inquiry Committee given some recommendation, and depending upon that recommendations, the origin of Pharmacy Act takes place. So what recommendation the Drug Inquiry Committee given? The person practicing pharmacy, that is compounding or dispensing medicine, should have a proper educational background. Means earlier when the Drug Inquiry Committee given the recommendation in 1931, before that there were no pharmacy profession, and some persons with having knowledge of chemicals were dealing with the medicines. So there was urgent need of proper educational background for controlling the profession of medicine. So this was the recommendation. On that the Pharmacy Act came into existence. So when the Pharmacy Act came into existence in 1948, what was the objectives of this act? So the objective of the act was to regulate the profession of pharmacy and to practice of pharmacy, and to raise the status of profession of pharmacy in India. So for fulfilling this objective of Pharmacy Act, what the Pharmacy Act have implemented? First thing the Pharmacy Act have done is Constitution of Pharmacy Council of India. The Pharmacy Act established the Constitution of Pharmacy Council of India. Then Pharmacy Act started education regulations for courses of pharmacy in India. All the courses of degree, diploma or other courses of pharmacy, the education regulations means syllabus of these courses was designed by Pharmacy Act. Then Constitution of various state pharmacy councils was also established under this act. Next, the process for registration of pharmacist was also elaborately explained under this act and done under this act. And lastly, the regulation of professional activities. Whatever activities other than all these was also regulated by the Pharmacy Act 1948. But before discussing all the act in elaborately, we need to know some of the definitions in this act. So one by one we will see the definitions in that act. Whenever the word Central Council will come in this act, it means it is the Pharmacy Council of India. Then second, whenever the word Central Register will come, it means the Register of Pharmacists maintained by Central Council. When the word Registered Pharmacist will come, it means a person whose name for the time being is entered in Register of Pharmacists of the state in which he is residing or carrying business or profession of pharmacy. Means after completion of your course, you have to register as a pharmacist at a particular state in which you are residing, or in future you are going to carry your business or profession of pharmacy in that state. So the person whose name is there in that register, that is called as registered pharmacist as per definition. Next definition is University Grant Commission, UGC. It is the commission which is established under section 4 of UGC Act 1956. Then some other definition also we need to talk about. The definition is Indian University. What do we mean by Indian University? Indian University means under section 3 of UGC Act 1956, which is established under this act, this section, or the institution which are established by central government notified in official gazette. Some of the institute may not be established under UGC Act. For example, IITs, they have special acts. So those institutes are also called as Indian universities as per definition of the act. Then the definition of repatriate. So what is a repatriate? Some of the time defining the citizen of India, this word come into discussion. Repatriate, the person or any person of Indian origin who, due to civil disturbances in Burma, Sri Lanka, Uganda or any other country, after 14 April of 1957 left their country and residing in India. So at the civil disturbances in 1957, after 14 April, some persons from other countries who were having actual Indian origin, they came back to India. and we consider them as citizens of India, but we call them in definition particularly repatriate. And sometimes we have to give some licensing authority to this repatriate, but they must fit in the definition of repatriate. So this is the definition of repatriate. So some other persons like displaced persons, those also we have to discuss under this act. There are two classifications under this person, displaced persons. First comes when the partition of India takes place and Pakistan was formed. At that time, most of the persons or some of the persons in the territory which is now part of Pakistan came to India, left that area. So such persons were offered a citizenship of India, because since that time they are residing in India. They are called as displaced person, but they must come after the 1st March of 1947. They have came after this 1st March of 1947. They are called a displaced person. In second criteria, at the time of formation of Bangladesh, at that time also some persons left that area of Bangladesh and came to India. For those also we have made provision of displaced persons, but the condition is that the person must have left that area after 14th April 1957, but he must have came before 25th March of 1971. The person who is coming after this date will not be considered as displaced person from Bangladesh. So these are some definition. One more definition we are going to discuss, that is medical practitioner. It is divided into 4 parts, A, B, C, D. First, A person holding qualification granted by authorities specified in section 3 of Indian Medical Degrees Act 1916 or schedules of Indian Medical Council Act 1956. Means these two acts, Indian Medical Degrees Act and Indian Medical Council Act, if these two acts consider that person qualification as a medical practitioner, then that person will be considered as medical practitioner. Second, B is a person registered or eligible for registration in medical register of state. Just like pharmacy register, there is also medical register of state. The person is registered, already registered or eligible for registration for persons practicing modern scientific medicine. Means he is practicing the modern medicine practice, like means allopathy. That persons are considered to be medical practitioner. Third clause, a person registered in medical register not falling in clause A and B, but declared by special order by the state for person practicing modern scientific medicine. This clause is particularly applicable when the profession or the qualification does not fit in these two acts of first clause, or even if that person is not practicing modern scientific medicine. For example, the degrees of BMS in India are not falling in these first two clauses, but by special order these qualifications are considered under medical practitioners. That's why this clause is added in this. And last clause D, a person practicing veterinary medicines, means whatever the doctors or medical practitioners who are in veterinary practice, they are also considered as medical practitioners under this definition. Now we will move toward the Constitution of Pharmacy Council of India. So who are there in the body of Pharmacy Council of India? The Constitution of Pharmacy Council of India was taken place under the section 3 of Pharmacy Act 1948. Firstly, it contains 6 members elected, among whom at least one teacher of subject pharmaceutical chemistry or pharmacy or pharmacology or pharmacognosy by UGC from teaching staff of Indian University or affiliated colleges offering degree or diploma of pharmacy. Means from the teachers of the diploma or degree colleges or affiliated colleges or universities, UGC elects, here the word is elected, elects one person, and other 5 persons were from other areas. These 6 members were elected from these teachers, and they form part of Constitution of Pharmacy Council of India. Second, another 6 members nominated by central government, of whom at least 4 shall be possessing degree or diploma in pharmacy and practicing pharmacy or pharmaceutical chemistry. Means again 6 members were nominated. Here they are not elected. In first clause we can see they are elected. In second clause, they are nominated. No elections taken place. Only central government gives some names or nominates some names, from which 4 shall be having degree or diploma of pharmacy and practicing pharmacy or pharmaceutical chemistry. Third clause, 1 member elected by member of Medical Council of India among themselves. Means as there is Pharmacy Council of India, similarly there is also Council for Medical Practitioner, and that is called as Medical Council of India. So we are taking 1 member for suggestion in this body from their side, but they have to elect 1 person from themselves and send it to Pharmacy Council of India body. Next is 1 representative of UGC, that is University Grant Commission, and 1 representative of AICTE, that is All India Council for Technical Education. So 1 representative from both these bodies have been taken in this Pharmacy Council of India. The next is 1 member from each state elected by each state council among themselves shall be a registered pharmacist. Means as we know, as there is Pharmacy Council of India for whole nation, there are also state councils in each state. So from each state 1 person is elected, again election is there by each state among themselves, but that elected person must be a registered pharmacist. That is a condition, and that will be member for this Pharmacy Council of India. Means from each state there will be 1 member. So whatever number of states are there, 29, 30, that much members will be part of this Pharmacy Council of India. Then 1 more clause is added in 1976, that 1 member nominated from each union territory. Like there are states, there are also some union territories. From that union territories 1 person should be nominated. There is no election, only nominated. From each union territory 1 person will be taken. So these are some of the members explained in this Pharmacy Council of India. Beside this, there are some also members which are 1 member from each state nominated by state government and shall be registered pharmacist. Means again here we can see that 1 member from each state elected by state council, but here the government is nominating, state government is nominated 1 person from each state. This will be also part of the Pharmacy Council of India. And after that there are some other members, they are called as ex officio members. Ex officio members means they are not elected or nominated, but they are part of this Pharmacy Council of India by virtue of their position of office. Means they are holding already 1 office and they are having some position in that office, and due to that position they are by default part of this Pharmacy Council of India. So who are they? First one is Director General of Health Services of India, that is DGHS. So by default Director General of Health Services will always be a member of Pharmacy Council of India. Next is Drug Controller of India. So whoever is Drug Controller of India will always be a member of Pharmacy Council of India by his position or by his official position. And last one, the Director of Central Drug Laboratory. Any one director from Central Drug Laboratory will always be a member of Pharmacy Council of India. So this is all constitution of Pharmacy Council of India. It is divided into these parts A, B, C, D, E, F and ex officio members G, H, I. So you can remember by this numbers also. In first clause there are 6 members, in second clause there are 6 members, in third clause there is 1 member, in fourth clause there are 2 members, 1 from each UGC and AICTE. In E clause there are 29 or 30 members from each states and also from the Union Territory. So the number from E clause is much higher, and there is again in F clause there are members from each states. Again this number will be 29 to 30. So this much amount of members will be there in the Pharmacy Council of India, and they decide on or decide various regulatory procedures or decisions on pharmacy education or drug regulation or establishment of state councils or registration of pharmacies. These issues will be discussed in this body. In next lecture we are going to discuss functions of Pharmacy Council of India. Thank you.